So I was recently in Europe, and I like telling people that because I'm much more educated now and cultured and a big deal. But I was in Westminster Abbey, and inside that church, that area there, is the remains of 3,000 people. And it's hard for me to sort of go in there and go, okay, but it was something that was back in my mind. But it's hard to go in there and go, okay, let's sort of try and feel if we can feel anything going on in here, or, there's 1,000 people in there at once.
Yeah.
So you're not going to feel, slight changes. But are you more likely to feel something in there than, in a random house?
Well, I suppose the theory is that if those ghosts are at peace, then there's no reason for them to be wandering around. So,
sure.
And especially with that amount of energy around the area, with a lot of people there, anything that does happen is probably going to be cancelled out anyway, because there's just too much going on. If you're in there by yourself, no one else, and you had all the equipment that we generally use, who knows? It's like the French Catacombs as well. It's the same thing,
Or like the Skull Island in Bali.
Yeah.
Literally, they don't bury the dead. They just leave it out in the forest and let it decompose naturally.
So with like the catacombs, so they are the dead that have been re-dug up because there was no more, I guess re-dug up is definitely not the correct term, but decommissioned graves, if you will, brought out of the graves and then put in there because they ran out of room to bury people.
Yeah.
Is that correct? During, let's say, 1725.
Whenever it was.
We're going to flash it up right now. Okay? That's what I was trying to say. So those people have been, their spirits have gone to wherever they go, and do they come back because the graves have been disturbed? Is that...
Well, I guess that's more of a question for the psychics.
Sure.
But if someone was to ask me what a ghost is, how to describe a ghost, it's an energy. It's an energy that we can't translate or we can't necessarily communicate with through conventional means. That's why we have all of our equipment, and that all correlates with electricity as well. So for me, that energy, it could be disturbed. It could be something to do with their final resting place being desecrated. I guess it is definitely more of a spiritual side of question. But yeah, that's basically my take on it. That energy could be negative, could be positive. How it reacts and what it does is based on that environment, I suppose.
And how do you feel in these situations? Are you more of the direct side? I know we said at the start, like skeptic.
Yep.
But are you more towards the side of perhaps an energy source, a feel? Are you more or less just, okay, this is just rubbish? Where are you in the sort of side of things?
I'm pretty much in the same boat as Brad. And if you go to a few of the reports going around about how much the soul weighs, and apparently it weighs
7 pounds.
21 grams apparently.
21 grams?
Apparently.
Yeah, I've got a big soul.
But I do believe we're energy based.
Yeah.
So it all comes back to how traumatic that person's death was, and whether they're going to hang around that area where they did die, or whether they go into somewhere else.
So I just to interrupt, we're talking about energy. And I recently did a show in Newcastle in a big old theatre.
Yep.
Over 1,000 people there, and it's been there for almost 100 years. And you walk in that place, and I managed to get a bit of time at the end to sit in there by myself. And they say it's haunted and all that type of stuff, but I was sitting in there, and it just feels alive.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a dead space. Like you go and park your car in the middle of a parking centre, car park, whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like much is going on. But you sit in that place, it feels like there's something in the wall, something in the paint.
Well, you kind of think of, and if the theory is true, is the stone and the wood theory acting as a recorder.
Yes.
So any old kind of, say the Westminster castles and all that sort of stuff, all stone and everything like that. So if there's a traumatic event or something's happened and all that, the stone or the wood acts as a recorder, which then over time just replays that same scenario over and over again. So that energy that you're picking up in the theatre could be from shows past, it could be from anything, because it's so old as well. Yeah, it could be from
It's like a
anything.
death echo.
Death echo or something like that.
A death echo.
A death echo.
You couldn't name that something nicer, like a pleasant reminder.
It just sounds sinister. It's great.
A death echo.